of this, we're going to start on question 7, and immediately I can tell that that's going to be a difference of squares. So I don't have a GCF that I can pull out, but I can take the square root of 9a squared. That's going to be equal to 3a, and then the square root of 16 is equal to 4. So my factored form ends up being 3a plus 4 and 3a minus 4. On number 8, I don't have a GCF that I can take out of all three terms, so I'm just going to start by identifying A, B, and C. A in this case is equal to a positive 1, B is equal to a negative 1, and C is equal to negative 6. So for step number 1, I'm going to slide A times C. So 1 times negative 6 gives me negative 6 on the top. On the bottom, I just have negative 1 for my B value. This is a negative on top, so that tells me I'm going to have one positive and one negative factor. On the bottom, negative 1 tells me that my larger number is going to be a negative. My factors for 1 and 5 would be 1 and 5 with a negative 5 and a positive 1. That would not give me a negative 1 for my B value to add those together. But what would work would be a negative 3 and a positive 2. Negative 3 times 2 equals negative 6. Negative 3 plus 2 equals a negative 1. So my factors here are going to be x minus 3 and x plus 2. For step number 2, we're going to divide by our A value. That's just a positive 1. So those simplify out well and end up giving me my full factors of x minus 3 and x plus 2. For number 9, there is not a GCF that I can pull out of these three terms, so I'm going to identify A, B, and C values. A value is a positive 2, B value is a positive 17, and C value is a positive 21. So step number 1, I'm going to slide A times C. That's going to give me a total of 42 on the top. On the bottom, I have a positive 17. So these are both positive numbers. So then that tells me this is going to have a positive and positive. I do not have any negative factors that I'm working with. So a common one that I would have that would multiply to 42 would be 6 and 7. But whenever I add 6 and 7 together, that does not give me 17. Another one would be just 2 and 21. That gives me 42, but 2 plus 21 gives me 23, not 17. Another one that you may or may not be completely familiar with would be 3 and 14 is my other positive. So then my factors are going to be x plus 3 and x plus 14. Step number 2, I need to divide by my A value. In this case, I'm going to be dividing by 2 for both of these. I cannot simplify down 3 over 2 any, so I'm just going to bottoms up and bring that forward on step 3. So I have 2x plus 3. I can simplify 14 divided by 2. That's going to give me x plus 7. And here are my two factors. For question 10, I do not have a GCF that I can pull out, so I'm going to identify A, B, and C. A is equal to a positive 10, B is equal to a positive 89, and C is equal to a negative 9. So step number 1, I'm going to multiply 10 times a negative 9. That gives me a negative 90. My B value is a positive 89, so that goes down here. Having a negative on the top tells me that I'm going to have a positive and a negative factor. With the fact that the bottom is a positive, my positive factor is going to be larger. And this one is going to be a positive 90 and a negative 1. That multiplies to negative 90, but then adds to get you a positive 89. So my factors are going to be x plus 90 and x minus 1. Step number 2, I'm going to divide by that A value, which is 10. And then step 3, simplify or bottoms up if need be. 90 divided by 10 is just x plus 9, so that's fine. I do have a bottoms up right here. I'm going to bring this 10 out into the front, so 10x minus 1 ends up being my second factor. On number 11, I do not have a GCF to pull out, so my A value, my B value, and my C value are equal to 1, -4, and -5. Step number 1, slide A times C. 1 times a -5 is a -5. My B value is a -4. Having a negative value on top tells me I'm going to have one positive and one negative factor. This -4 on the bottom tells me my larger factor is negative. And my only factors for 5 would be 1 and 5. So that's going to give me a -5 and a +1. So I'm going to have x plus 1 and x minus 5. And I want to divide that by my A value, so divide that by 1. So that's step 2. I don't have anything to bring forward, bottoms up, so I'm just going to keep my factors as x plus 1, that simplifies down, and x minus 5. Number 12, again, I do not have a GCF to pull out, so I'm going to identify A, B, and C. A is 1, B is -8, C is 15. For step 1, I slide 1 times a +15. That gives me a +15 on the top. My B value on the bottom is a -8. With this being a positive on top, that means that my two factors have to be the same. But with this being a negative on the bottom, that means that my two factors are both going to be negative. 1 and 15 do not add to get you a -8, but -3 and -5 do. Oh. So then my two factors are x minus 3 and x minus 5. Divide that by my A value, so divide by 1 on both of those for step number 2. Step number 3, those simplify down nicely, so I'm just left with x minus 3 and then x minus 5 for my factors. For the last row, on number 13 here, I don't have a GCF, so A, B, and C are a +1 for A, +5 for B, and -36 for C. Step 1, I'm going to slide 1 times a -36 to get -36 on top. On the bottom, my B value is a +5. With this being a negative on top, that tells me I'm going to have one positive and one negative factor. This being a positive on the bottom tells me that my larger factor is going to be positive. So 3 and 12, +12, -3 would give me a +9, not 5. A 6 and a 6 would cancel themselves out, but a 4 times 9 gives me 36. +9 and a -4 would add together to give me a +5. So those are my factors. X minus 4, X plus 9. Step number 2, I need to divide that by A. Those simplify down nicely because it's just over 1. There are no bottoms up, so my full factors are x minus 4 and x plus 9. Being able to factor like this and to do it quickly just kind of takes going back and remembering the two factors and being able to go back and figure out what two things multiply together on top in order to get you what they add together on the bottom. That just takes practice, honestly. So going through all of these is super helpful. And if you need additional practice, at the very beginning of this was that factoring practice that you can also take a look at if that helps. On number 14, second to last question, we don't have a GCF that we're going to bring out. So we're going to identify A, B, and C. Our A value is a +1, our B value is a +3, and our C value is a -18. Step number 1, slide 1 times a -18. That gives me -18 for the top. The bottom gives me a +3. Having a negative on top tells me I'm going to have a positive and a negative factor. 2 and 9, this is a positive 3, positive 9 and a negative 2 would give me a positive 7, so that doesn't work. But a positive 6 and a negative 3 multiply to get to negative 19, but add together to get you a positive 3. So my factors are going to be x plus 6 and x minus 3. Divide, step number 2, divide everything by my a value, which is 1. That simplifies down nicely, so that ends up with no bottoms up. And my factors are x plus 6 and x minus 3. For this last one, there's a 4, a 16, and a 40. So there is a GCF of positive 4. Whenever I take that out, that gives me x squared plus 4x plus 10. So the next thing that I want to do is identify A, B, and C. My A value is now 1. My B value is a positive 4. My C value is a positive 10. So I'm going to slide 1 times 10. That gives me 10 on the top. My bottom is going to be 4 for my B value. And on this one, what ends up happening is there are not two positive factors that will multiply to get you to 10 that will add together to get you to 4. Your factors for 10 are 1 and 10, which would give you 11, and 2 and 5, which would get you 7. So at this point in time, we are done factoring. There is not a way that we would be able to break this down anymore. So we would just say that our factored form is 4 on the outside. We've pulled that GCF out. And then on the inside of our parentheses, we'll have just our polynomial, x squared plus 4x plus 10. And that is the end of factoring using the X method.